Janeiro as the best athletes compete for Olympic gold. The 2016 Olympic Games coming August 5th to the networks of NBC Universal. Marty.
Let's chat with Joey Logano, fresh in from his run out on the racetrack. First of all, I want to know, how hot is it in the race car? You came out really, really sweaty.
I was sitting out there for like 15 minutes, I think, when we were cleaning up the racetrack, and that's when it's the hottest, when you're just sitting there, there's no air moving, but once you're out there, it's not bad inside the car, at least, and or at least it feels a lot cooler after you've been sitting out there in the heat.
Yeah, exactly. I know with Team Penske, it's kind of an important place for Roger, isn't it? Does he remind you guys that he wants you to win at Brickyard? He wants you to win here in either series?
He doesn't even have to say it. I was fortunate enough yesterday to go to the museum here in the infield and see the 50th anniversary for Team Penske's little exhibit they got in there. And that's when you come to realize how important Indy is to Roger Penske. And like I said, he doesn't have to say how important it is. So anytime you have the opportunity to drive for Roger at this racetrack, it's always a special opportunity. And we want to be able to get him a win here in the Xfinity Series, but even more importantly in the Cup Series to get his first win in the Cup car here.
We're going to let Joey go work on his race car right now. And DJ, could you imagine having driven for Roger Penske here? You had a fair bit of success at this racetrack, but to drive for the captain, and if you're lucky enough to win here for Roger, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, he's done everything here through the years, except right now is that Cup race that they're missing for the Brickyard 400.
You see the 16 Indy 500 wins, most all time. 400 starts, 47 of them here. Second, Rusty Wallace 3 times, and Joey Logano last year. And just a little more work to do to bring the captain that trophy here. 50th year of their operation, and Roger still going strong. That to me is the amazing thing.
That is amazing. Marty asked DJ, what it would have been like to drive for Roger. Roger would already have his win here at Indy if DJ had driven for him. DJ's got, but it is amazing to come to a place where everyone in the world knows about Indianapolis. They know the Speedway. I mean, it is, you speak motorsports anywhere in the world, and they know what Indianapolis means. And to come here, and as we heard Joey say, talk about the Penske exhibit. If you know Indy, you know Penske, and that's the way it is. They're synonymous. They go together. So to be a part of that organization, to win races here has been would have been phenomenal. But to be a part of that organization and to come here it's got to be pretty special for Joey and for Brad.
Well, DJ, what sense of accomplishment for you to have come here and done so well?
Yeah, it ranks towards the top of the list. I mean, I didn't envision being able to race here because I wasn't an open-wheel driver, and then that opportunity came along in '94 for us to be here. And when I look back at this is the '96 race, I'd raced my teammate Ernie Irvin. Finally worked. He slipped up a little bit. I was able to get by him, and then they had a crash right there at the end, and was able to win the race. But having that chance to go to victory lane, starting a tradition with my crew chief Todd Perry and I, go out and kiss the bricks, just incredible. And after that year, when we came back here in '97, we did a photograph, and the first 3 winners, when I look at that, Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt, and myself, that's something that I have at my office, and pretty incredible to think, for me to even be in that shot with those 2 guys, just unbelievable. And it's just, again, it's more special than I could even put into words. And if it's someone this weekend that wins on Sunday that hasn't won here, they're going to find a life-changing experience for themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's this week on NASCAR America, Dale spoke about, it was a life-changing experience to win at Indy. And we've seen it with Rick Mears and AJ and the Unsers and guys like that. We've seen it with Dale Jarrett, with Jeff Gordon, with Earnhardt Sr., with so many guys who have won here. It is such a big deal. And it's a big deal at the Cup level and at the IndyCar level. But it's a huge deal at the Xfinity level.
Yeah.
We are still talking about Ty Dillon winning this race and what it meant, and it has put him on the radar screen. So it's got to be a special moment when you're standing at victory lane.
You saw the yard of bricks down there still exists at the $3.2 million that were used to originally pave this place. Read a nice article this week. Petersburg, Indiana, responsible for that, and the Wabash Clay Works. You think they saw that order coming? $3.2 million. It's like, hey, we need to hire some people.
Yeah, we need them next week.
Yeah. Here's Brandon Jones. We listened in.
Brandon, when you get down to the one, you drive up towards the center. Did it get for you? Just get tight and take off tight up there? Yeah, it just takes off tight. Honestly, as soon as you see it washed up, a lot of tender breathe it right there, even to make, to keep it from not hitting the wall. Yeah, but we got to fix it because we're 2 seconds off, so.
2 seconds off at Indianapolis, well, that's an awful lot. It has him 17th on the board as you watch Brandon Jones continue to work his way around the 2.5-mile Indianapolis Motor Speedway. What they did on this last change, they changed the left rear spring, they changed the shock as well, trying to figure out a way to get the car where he can get through the corners without him having to, as he said, breathe the throttle. The problem with getting out of the gas with the tapered spacers on the engines here in the Xfinity Series, they call these momentum cars, meaning you have to keep the foot on the accelerator to keep the momentum up to get down these long straightaways. There's an awful lot that goes into just making one lap around Indy, and right now Brandon Jones and Mike Hillman Jr. and the rest of this team, well, they're having some challenges.
Yeah, Dave, you asked me earlier about a loose race car versus a tight, and I said I like mine on the tighter side. You can't have it where you have to breathe the throttle. Obviously, that car has to rotate, and when you go back to the throttle, the most important thing is that you're able to keep your foot down. You want to be able, you have to do it going to the short chute, but more importantly, when you get to turns 2 and 4 and you go back to the gas, you have to stay in the gas the entire exit of that corner and all the way down that long straightaway if you're going to make time around.
And as Dale said, when you get out of the gas, with these tapered throttles, it's like a plate. So that compounds your problem. You don't have the power to drive through the push. A Cup car has that power to drive through that little bit of snugness. So you can be a little snug, a little tight with the Cup car and drive through it at certain points in time. But with these cars, he's probably got a couple of tenths worth of push in it, but it's compounding it to a couple of more tenths because the thing won't accelerate down the short chute and won't accelerate down the straight.
For a young driver coming here on the tight side, it's not a bad thing because two things are going to happen. So you got him tight, get him comfortable with the racetrack. Okay, so let's make some speed. Let's free the car up a little bit. So the next thing you know, your driver's getting more confidence with that, and you're also picking up speed. So mindset is a big thing. So you're doing a couple of good things at one time.
I think you used to tell those guys when I would go to the racetrack for the first time when I was first starting to make sure it plowed.
Yeah.
Okay? Because he said if he's too free, 2 things are going to happen. Either he's going to knock the wall down or you're going to knock all the confidence out of it right off the bat. And that's what you do. When you get to the corner, if you don't wreck, it takes your breath enough that you have to build back as a young driver to get into that corner, to press that edge just a little bit.
On track with Joey Logano, and we talked about drivers learning this place. 10 of them have never raced here that will be in the field on Saturday afternoon. Logano not one of them. His teammate won back in 2012. And here are some of the drivers you'll see in the Xfinity Series heat races. And a Maine on Saturday, also going for the Dash for Cash $100,000 bonus.